go, people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good. What? We talking about Final Fantasy VII remake here. Which Final Fantasy VII remake we talking about? This one or this one? Pick one. Is this the remake or this the remake? I know you PlayStation fans remember this one, huh? Mm-hmm. Look at this. Oh yeah, remember this nice little booklet you get with it? Yeah. 3 CDs, people. Still got it. That's this one. Oh yeah. And oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII, folks. Yeah. PlayStation 1. Remember that. This game that put PlayStation on the map. Once Sony and Squaresoft got married, it was over. the RPG market was open. And now we got this Final Fantasy. Oh yeah. Still got it. Oh yeah. Final Fantasy VII, man. Remake. So which remake are we talking? This one or this one? Are they just the same game? Anyway, so with it. Look, says here, got this article here from PCN Games. Said here, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth story access won't change from Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, they just got to keep the ball moving on this. It says Final Fantasy VII Rebirth story won't diverge too much from vanilla Final Fantasy VII, though will offer a fresh new experience for the original player. Bad luck, Aerith. Anyway, says here, let me get this. Says here, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 was finally confirmed back in June. Come on. Don't mess around here. Okay. Back in June for an initial winter 2023 release. Wow, that means 2023. Some hitters are coming out. So let me talk about that after this. It says here, but there are questions about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth story. According to the Square Enix, the axis of the story will remain unchanged from the classic JRPG, but there will be new twists to make it a fresh new experience. Says here, anyone who played the excellent Final Fantasy VII Remake knows that, strictly speaking, it isn't a full remake of the original RPG game, while the plot followed the same beat, the story goes off in some wildly different direction. Fans therefore have wondered how the next chapter will address things. According to a new interview at Gamer JP, translated by Talkmuch on Twitter, with the director Tetsuya Nomura, the axis of the story in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will not change from the original, but the team goal is that it will be a new experience with new developments, like with Remake, and that players new and old will be able to enjoy this story. Time to get you a PlayStation 5. Time to upgrade your PlayStation, people. Says here, Nomura confirms that the Rebirth will lead with a mystery of Nebelium, Cloud, and Tifia hometown, but the challenge the team has is to keep some mystery from returning. Players, without deviating too much from the original plot, simply remaking the game with better graphics would not make sense. Says producers Yoshinori Katetsu confirmed that Final Fantasy VII team didn't like the thought of simply just remaking Final Fantasy VII. Oh, let me read that. It says the Final Fantasy VII team didn't like the thought of simply just remaking Final Fantasy VII. Instead, Square Enix hope Rebirth will offer some new players can play and enjoy, and return players can also have a fresh new experience as well. Remember, because look, you know what? Let me finish this off here. And it says here, given how popular Final Fantasy VII Remake has been on Steam since its release, hopefully the PC version of Rebirth will follow soon after the console version. And it says coming to PC is a remake of Final Fantasy VII prequel titled Crisis Core in late 2022. However, Square Enix has no plans for a remake of the other major Final Fantasy VII spin-off, Dirge and Cerberus at this time. Okay, here's the deal. First thing, let me say this. 2023 gonna be a big year in gaming. There is, let's see, Starfield coming. Zelda's supposed to be coming. Breath of the Wild 2. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I think there's a few other games that are coming. So 2023 for video games is going to be a big year. Now, Final Fantasy VII now, when Final Fantasy VII was on PlayStation 1, you know, Final Fantasy VII did its thing, but the PlayStation 1 was only 32-bit. So you were only limited to what the PlayStation 1 can do. So fast forward now to a PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. There's little details that will be shown that the PlayStation 1 didn't show in Final Fantasy VII, the remake Part 2. So that's what they were talking about, giving players a fresh new experience, because a 32-bit system, the PlayStation 1 can only do so much, and there's a lot of details that were there that you didn't get to see or explore in Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1. But with the PS5 now and PlayStation 4, those areas can be explored. So I see why now that they broke down Final Fantasy VII into like three chapters, so they can really work on the game. So Part 2 will be better. Part 2 will be really good. So be looking for that in 2023. But there's a lot of details. They're gonna like new areas to explore that you couldn't get to in the PlayStation 1 version. So it's good that they're remaking the game, but now they can expand. They can expand on it some more, and then make the game fun and playable and enjoying for everybody that's been playing since the very first game. So Part 2 will be really good. So be on the lookout for that game. But 2023 will be a big year in gaming. You know, because you know, Nintendo will have something to offer. Sony will definitely have something to offer, and Microsoft will definitely have something to offer. So Final Fantasy VII the Remake Part 2. There's Crisis Core that's coming out this year, but Part 2 to Final Fantasy VII. Then there's the Starfield, and then Breath of the Wild supposed to be coming, and then Rocksteady with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So 2023 will be a good year in gaming, man. When you look back at it. And you know, Final Fantasy is Sony's is Sony's bread and butter. You know, that game put them on the map with PlayStation 1. So, you know, Square and Sony is like this. Those two, they're like this, man. So you're not gonna separate them two, because, you know, Square was really happy when they joined Sony. When they left Nintendo and joined Sony, it was like a sigh of relief, because they finally get to make Final Fantasy the way they want to make them. And the relationship between those two have been first class, man. It's, you can't separate those two together. So they're gonna be around for a while. So PlayStation is the home when it comes to Final Fantasy. PlayStation is the home for Final Fantasy, the home for Final Fantasy. PlayStation 1 got a whole bunch of Final Fantasies. PlayStation 2 got a whole bunch of Final Fantasy games. PlayStation 3 got a whole bunch of got Final Fantasy games too, you know, that you can buy physically and digitally. PlayStation 4, same thing. And now PlayStation 5. So Sony and Square are like this, man. They got a good relationship, man. And you know, that relationship that they built on the PlayStation 1 carried all the way over to PlayStation 5. So yeah, when it comes to Final Fantasy, man, it's on PlayStation. PlayStation is the home for Final Fantasy. So PlayStation fans got a lot to look forward to, you know, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake. So the second game is gonna be the second game to Final Fantasy VII. I mean part two, because there's a lot of areas that you didn't get to explore when you played Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1. There was a lot of areas that you couldn't explore because of the limitations of the PlayStation 1. But now that we got the PlayStation 5 out now, and 4, those areas can be explored. So part two to Final Fantasy VII Remake will be a big game, man, and it's coming out in the winter. So that means Sony got some momentum back. Sony got some momentum back from Starfield not being released in 2022 of this year. Starfield is coming out in 2023, so Sony got some momentum. So God of War slid into that spot, you know, and plus Final Fantasy Crisis Core. So Sony got some momentum now. They can carry it over into 2023. So Microsoft now, when it comes to Starfield, it's going to be interesting to see how they release it, because the remake part 2 remake for Final Fantasy VII comes out in the winter of next year. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. But Sony got some momentum back now, and they can move forward now. And plus, Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man 2 is supposed to be coming out next year or in 2024, one of the two. So a lot of good things are happening. A lot of good things are happening with Sony as far as gaming is concerned. So they got some momentum back, man. And 2023, yeah, got some games coming. I mean, and of course, Insomniac is still working on Wolverine too. So 2023, man, get ready. It's gonna be a fun time in gaming. You know? Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Or Dark Side. Go. Peace.